Today we're going to look at a really cool water filtration system. This is made by SimPure. It's the Q3-600. It's basically a tankless ultraviolet light reverse osmosis system. Pretty much like what this is. This is a countertop version. This is going to be the AquaTrue. We'll do a review on that coming up. I like this one because it has filters in the back, sets up on the counter, keeps the little pitcher full of fresh water at all times, and it's worked very well for me. But the problem I have with that is it sets on the counter. This is made to be able to set underneath your cabinet. We're going to have a cabinet go right here. I have the water lines set up already. We're going to go ahead and test it here. Now, ultimately, though, this unit is going to go behind the camera in a coffee bar area because I want to filter all of the actual water and everything that we use for our coffees and our teas and our drinks. But I want to show you and test the unit over here because there's a few things you really need to know about this if you are going to be installing one. Now, a few of the highlights on this is it is basically an 8-stage system. It will literally filter down to 0.001 microns. It removes 99.99% of over 1,000 different contaminants. The UV light is built in. It's all encased in this one little unit. I don't have to have a tank. If you've seen a lot of the under-counter reverse osmosis systems, you have a big tank, you got all these big filters. The filters alone are generally bigger than this unit, and it takes up everything underneath your sink, and it can be a royal pain to hook up. This has a really nice display unit up in here, which will actually give you the current TDS, and it'll give you the current life of your filter. So it overall a great unit. It'll even fill up a cup of pure water in under 8 seconds. Well, that's rocking and rolling when it comes to a reverse osmosis system. Another drawback to reverse osmosis systems is a lot of waste. Even in this unit, it'll take water actually in this back tank down to about right in here. You can see this line, and you have to dump that out and put fresh water. That's because it's dumping the waste back in and it's going into the bottom of the actual tank. This one will actually have a 2-to-1 pour to drain ratio, which is really good on a reverse osmosis, which means that it wastes very little water. Now, another thing that's cool about this is the filters are in the side. We're going to pop it open right here. And the filters do not require any tools. They're just going to slide in. You'll hear a click. That's it. And you put the actual piece back on. So it's just a 2-filter system with the light. A lot of the other stuff is on this side over here, but you're not really even going to deal with that because most of your connections are on the top. Let me pop this back in. So this actually has little clips on it. And has 2 little arms. It just clips in right there, and boom, it's back in. So you will actually hook your hoses and things up right through the very top. So that makes it very simple. Now, one of the drawbacks I'm going to go ahead and tell you right now before we get over to installation is going to be that it has to have its own power supply. So if you're putting this under your sink and you have the plug under there that controls your garbage disposal, and that garbage disposal is controlled by a switch, like I will have a switch here. My garbage disposal plug is down there. When you flip it off, it means you'll have no power at that receptacle, which means this does not work. So it has to have its own dedicated power. Now, there's a couple of ways you can get by that. You can actually split your plug and have 2 lines going in, especially if you're under construction like I am now. You can fix that ahead of time. Or if you have a line over on the other side to your dishwasher, you can tie into that as well. But you may have to pull your dishwasher out to get behind it to plug it in the first time, or run a cord or something over to this. So those are, a couple of things that can be a drawback. Now, this system comes with everything you're going to need to get started at the sink. It's going to have 3 lines, and the lines are actually labeled here, and they are labeled in the manual. One of the lines is going to go to the drain, and it's going to have a saddle that'll tie right into your trap, and so that way it can drain out the wastewater. It'll have another line that's going to go to the water supply, and then it'll have a final line that is going to go to your water faucet that they give you. And this is a stainless steel little faucet. I really like this. Now, keep in mind, you will have to drill a hole in your countertop to get this in. I believe it's about a 2-inch hole that you'll have to do. Yeah, looks like about 2 inches. And you can put this in your countertop. So that's another thing you need to keep in mind when you're figuring all of this out. Here is your actual power supply right here. They even give you the connection that goes to your water supply. So this is my water cutoff here. This is the one they give you. And you will tie a hose into this. Now, this will actually feed and continue onto your faucet from the side. So if you are going to put this in a remote area and you're not feeding a faucet, it has its own dedicated water, you're going to need to use something like this cap to cap off your little water shutoff. And most of these water shutoffs today are going to be 3/8. This is a 3/8 water cap that caps it off. But the thing you need to look for is it needs to be compression. If it's not compression, it is going to leak. So go to the big box store, go to your plumbing supply, whatever's near you, and look for a 3/8 inch cap compression. Now, if you happen to have a 1/2 inch line, you're going to have to get a 1/2 inch, and you'll have some conversions that they give you in your supplies here. So really, this is very simple to set up. I'm going to pull you in close. We're going to set everything up, and we are going to test it. So let's do that. So this is going to be my cold water. Generally, it's always on the right. Hot is on the left. So I don't even have the hot hooked up right now, just the cold. There is water going to it. I have just the temporary trap set up just to kind of give you an idea of how the drain part works. So the first thing we're going to do is we are going to hook up the adapter. This adapter already has the cap on it. I explained earlier that is where you will run your line to your sink. Now, before we put this on, we're going to want to put a little Teflon tape on there. They give you some tape, so we're going to go ahead and use theirs. I'm going to pull out a nice little chunk about like that, and you want to make sure you go in the same direction that you're going to twist it on so you don't untwist it. So in other words, the end ends in the same direction. It's usually going to be clockwise, and we start working around it. Just like that. And what you want to make sure of is you try to keep the Teflon out of the area where the water is going to flow, so it stays out of your actual faucet itself, so it doesn't clog anything. So now we take it, we're going to apply this. Now this is made to swivel. It'll lock into place wherever you stop it. So we're going to want it here, say in this area, so you guys can see how it hooks up. So I'm going to try to hold it out there. Hopefully we got enough Teflon tape on it. Let's see. There we go. And tighten her down. Alright, so now this is on like this, it's off. So let's turn on the water, see if that was enough Teflon. That looks great, holding fine. Alright, so we're going to turn it back off, and we are going to start installing our line. So we bring the unit over to us, and we have wastewater, inlet water, and we have outlet. So we want to do our inlet. Let's look for the inlet hose. This one is going to be inlet water, white. So this is going to be coming from our actual unit here. So we're going to take it. Both ends look the same. pushes like that. So basically the little nut pulls backwards, guys, it slides on, and then this slides over the nut. And I believe this is going to be more of a compression as it tightens. There we go. Seems to be pretty tight. All right, so now we're going to look on the unit itself, and we need inlet water, which is here. If they have these little plugs, we're going to pull that out, and this should just slide right in. Bingo, that is in. All right, guys, so the next thing we want to do is hook up the outlet, and the outlet is going to be the blue line, and that is going to go up to our stainless steel faucet that they supply. You're going to need to drill your hole in the top, unless you already have a hole there, and you place this. They're going to give you some little anchor pieces where you'll tighten it down to your top so that it isn't moving. It's a quarter turn unit, works really great. It simply slides in just like our inlet water did on to the left of it. So you will use the adapter. You put the adapter on like that, and then you will put the other end in here, and now this is ready to actually rock and roll. So the wastewater one works very simple, just like the others. It's a smaller line. The red one, it's going to go in the front here. You just push it in. They give you a saddle. The saddle is going to clamp over your waistline. Now it needs to be above the trap and away from your garbage disposal. I'll give you a diagram that explains exactly where that goes, but it's very simple. You're going to drill the hole. They give you a little sticker that you put on that shows you exactly how to drill the hole. You just follow the instructions with that, clamp it down with the two sides. It's a Phillips screw, and slide this into place, and you're ready to rock and roll. We're not going to do that here because I don't have that part hooked up. So we're going to put this into the actual container here so that we can test it. So it's going to have water going in here, and this is what we are going to actually fill up. So we should be able to actually start. The only thing we have left now, I brought a power cord over because my power obviously isn't hooked up yet. And we are going to hook this up to the unit. It is just a simple connection, and there's a spot right in the back that slides into, and then this plugs in, and basically it is a power transformer unit. So just like that, and you can see it starting up right now. UV light, everything is working. Now we are going to go ahead and start feeding some water. You can see right now we are running a little bit of water in here. It's actually filtering through and filling up the filters to be ready to go. This will work. We're going to turn it on here in just a second. A couple of things I want to point out. There are some little clips that you can put right here over the lines, which will lock these in so they do not accidentally come undone. Now we'll take it, we'll turn it on, and there you go. That's how fast it actually fills up. That is really quick, especially considering there's not really a tank. Now you're supposed to let this actually run for about 20 minutes the first time you use it, so to get rid of all of those filter tastes and things like that. But you can see as I do that and I'm running it, you can see how fast the actual wastewater is coming out as well. As soon as I shut it off, it goes off. So really, setting it up was extremely easy. Basically, inlet line, which goes to the faucet that they supply. You have the water line, which is going to be white, which goes to your line with their connector. I have a little bit of a drip here because I do not have that sealed all the way. And you have your red line, which is going to be the waste, and you have the saddle, which will go on here. So there you go, guys. I think it's a fantastic system. If I was going to rate it on a scale of 1 to 5, I'd have to give it 5 stars. I think it does everything that they said it was going to do. It's extremely compact. It's so much easier to install than if I was installing a reverse osmosis system with a tank. And this one has a UV light in it as well. Great customer service. They've got like 17 years of experience in this field. So if you need to contact them, they're great to contact and answer any question that you may have. So do yourself a favor, pick yourself up one today, and we'll see you guys on the next review.